Hi everybody, I hope you had a wonderful weekend and happy Monday. Today I'll be reading chapter 19 of my novel, Living Nightmare, book 1 to the Other Side of Gifted series. Last week I read chapter 18 where Manuel introduced the 4th floor ward to two new staff members, Dr. Howard Owens and Meredith Mercy, who joined the staff to do a trial study, with the hope that through the use of hypnosis, they'd be able to help some of the patients. Tobin isn't so sure what she thinks about these two new additions to the staff. Chapter 19. I want peace. Is that too much to ask? I don't want to be studied like an unfinished puzzle because I know there are pieces missing, pieces that won't be found. I'm flawed. I accepted this years ago. The dark dreams split me open to give chaos a home. A place where shame over my inability to help destroys hope, and there is no lid to keep it locked away. I'm scared one day it'll drown me. Tobin. 2 days passed. 2 days of waiting and worrying before Tobin was called into a meeting with Dr. Howard Owens. They met in Dr. Dawson's office. Dr. Owens was behind Dr. Dawson's desk, sitting in the chair like it was his own. She didn't like it. Leaning back, arms on the chair's rests, Dr. Owens was too comfortable in another's place. A hint of a smile decorated his lips. A smirk, really. The sight of it, of him, had her jaw clenching. She didn't want to be in the room with him. In fact, the fact that she didn't have a choice chafed her. She took a defensive pose, but near the end of the seat, in preparation for escape when the moment presented itself. Before him, waiting conspicuously on the desk, was Tobin's answer sheet. Great. I understand you're not keen on hypnotherapy, was his opening line. Tobin wanted to roll her eyes. It wasn't a secret. She was sure everyone on the 4th floor ward knew that. He just wanted a response. Too bad for him. He wasn't going to get one. His smile withered. I called your parents, he said. Lovely couple. They asked to see a detailed outline of the clinical study. I emailed them a couple of days ago with the information. Lovely couple? The description was bathed in sarcasm. Tobin held back a snort. She bet they had demanded answers. Her father wasn't known for his gentle approach, and probably talked to the doctor like he was beneath them. I wish you'd change your mind. Dr. Owens looked at her answer sheet and shook his head. Not that it'll make a difference. Your parents are all for the therapy, and since, despite being of age, your parents have the right to determine your treatment, you don't have much say in the matter. Tobin played with the elastic on her wrist, twisting it around a finger. We'd prefer you to be willing, though, Dr. Owens was saying, because fighting against us will hinder your progress. Tobin snapped the elastic, winced. Dr. Owens made a noise, wanting her attention, but she didn't want to look at him. About the questionnaire, the doctor's voice changed a fraction, chilling. Tobin's gaze met his. The smile returned to his face. Her eyes went to his lips. The left side of his lip twitched. A false smile, unable to keep its shiny veneer. I noticed you didn't answer them all. That's not true. You may have written something, but that's not necessarily the same as an answer. What? Not the same as answering? What was he talking about? Let's take a look, shall we? He scanned her questionnaire. For number 8, where it asked, who would you save if you were trapped in a burning building? A family member or 5 strangers, you wrote. The doctor ran a finger all over the paper. Here it is. I don't know who I would save because it's impossible to know how I'd react. Yes, I know. That's not an answer. Actually, it is. An honest one. By all means. The smile dropped from his lips. Explain. For a doctor, he sure was short of patience. Temper flared in his eyes, only to be doused with a blink. Dr. Owens was a man accustomed to getting his way, and he wasn't pleased by her refusal to comply. Good. He would learn that she wasn't meek when shoved into a corner. I don't know what I'd do because I've never been in a fire, Tobin shrugged. It's a hypothetical question, he explained, leaning forward. Maybe, but my response depends on the circumstances. She was aggravating him. Was it wrong that she was happy about it? Where's the exit? Close by or far? She asked, not waiting for an answer. Are there any obstructions in my way? Who's closer to me, the family member or the strangers? And are the strangers together or in various locations? Where did the fire begin and how far has it spread? How much time do I have? Why can't I try and save them all? She paused to catch her breath. What if I don't have it in me to save anyone? What if I panicked and need to be saved instead? Huh. Tobin sat up. Look, I answered the best I could. They're supposed to be about me, right? What I do, how I feel. I'm not going to change them just because you're not happy. I'd be lying if I wrote anything else. Dr. Owens stared at her. A minute passed as they considered each other. That'll be all, he finally said. You may go. Dismissing her as if she was a pesky fly, he turned in the chair and began typing on the computer. That was it. After that big show over her so-called incomplete questionnaire. Okay, fine. She left. About time. Tobin thought Hannah would never leave for her session with Dr. Dawson. She wanted to write in her secret journal. There was a lot of confusing emotions clouding her judgment, and she needed to put them to paper to help figure them out. It wasn't just Dr. Owens having a roommate had shrunk her privacy to nothing, and it was getting to her. She had to grab whatever time she could, which was why she was currently kneeled by the dresser, wiggling her fingers in the small gap between the floor and the dresser's bottom. Her fingers hit dust. What? Panic had her shifting onto her stomach. Did she shove them all the way to the back last time? Fine. She'd move the dresser. A quick look out the door gave her the all clear. She hastily moved the dresser away from the wall and flinched when it scraped against the floor. After waiting to see if a nurse stepped in, she held her breath and moved it a couple more inches. Nothing but dust, strands of hair, and a stray elastic sat where her papers should have been. Shit, crap. Panic turned to alarm. Tobin chewed her lip. It didn't make any sense. Where'd they go? She was going to be sick. Did someone take it? What would they want with it? Tobin put the dresser back in place, her forehead scrunched up. Had she moved it somewhere else? No. She might have suffered from messed up nightmares, but there was nothing wrong with her memory. So who could have stolen the journal? Hannah? She had blackouts. Could it be her? Though she didn't seem like the type to go through other people's belongings. Who else could it be? No one. Except Marie. Tobin's heart dropped to her stomach. It had to be her. She had walked in on Tobin when she was writing once. A low growl vibrated her throat. How dare Marie touch her stuff? There weren't any rules against having a journal. Anger was like a lit match. The longer it stayed lit, the hotter the fingers holding it became. Tobin spent precious minutes checking patient's room, determined to find the nosy nurse. No sign of Marie. Where could she be? Tobin headed for the common room. The sound of her slippers slapping against the ground was the only warning that she was on a warpath, and it was enough to send patients nervously stepping aside. Good, fewer obstacles in her way, her hands fisted. Target found. Marie! Tobin's voice resounded in the hallway. Marie was at the nurse's station, a hand resting on Nurse Tiffany's arm. They stopped talking at the sound of Tobin's voice. a ticking bomb. Tiffany's eyes widened comically. Marie, on the other hand, gave Tobin a warm smile of welcome. How are you, dear? Marie's false charm ticked Tobin off even more. Can I talk to you? Privately? Marie led them down another hallway. As soon as they were out of earshot, Tobin barked, Where is it? Where's what? My journal. Where is it? Dr. Dawson has it, doesn't he? The baffled expression was good, Tobin thought. She gave Marie credit for her acting skills. Too bad Tobin wasn't so gullible. I'm not talking about the dream journal. I don't understand, Tobin. Marie went to put a hand on her arm, but Tobin jerked away. Hurt darkened the toffee color of Marie's eyes, but Tobin refused to care. You'll have to be more specific, she said. My diary. You saw me writing in it. Tobin lowered her voice, scanning the hallway for eavesdroppers. Why would I know where it was? You're the only one who knows about it. Tobin's voice cracked. She wanted her journal back. This wasn't fair. Marie shook her head. Oh, Tobin, I didn't take your diary. I would never do that. Are you sure it's gone? Are you kidding me? Tobin yelled. I'm not blind. A female patient scurried by, throwing a frightened look her way. Tobin glared at the woman until Marie ushered her further down the hallway toward the stock rooms. How about we go check again, just in case? Back in her bedroom, Marie helped Tobin shift the dresser. See, dear? They're right there, Marie said. What? Tobin stared at the sheets of paper covered in her writing. They weren't there before. Marie patted her shoulder. I believe you. Perhaps they were just stuck on something? Tobin gathered the papers and hugged them. They were gone, she repeated, sitting on the floor. Well, they're safe now. Marie gave her shoulder another reassuring pat. I'll leave you alone. Someone had stolen them. It hadn't been a trick of the eye, and there was nothing they could have gotten stuck on. If it wasn't Marie, then someone else had done it. Question was, why? After she calmed down, Tobin realized her writing time was gone. Hannah would be finished with Dr. Dawson soon. She needed to find a new hiding place and scan the room for possibilities. The dresser was a definite no. She couldn't put it under the mattress. Someone would find it when they changed the sheets. She pursed her lips, eyes still on her bed. What about under the bed frame? She peered under her bed. The frame was cheap, a basic metal structure. If she was careful, she could weave the papers around the rods and hope they stayed put. With no time to spare, she slid beneath the bed on her back, the papers resting on her chest. She used one hand to push the mattress off the bed frame and the other to thread the papers around the 3 metal rods, then ease the mattress back in place. Dirt and dust clung to her clothes when she slid out. Some of it fell from her hair and onto her face, tickling her nose. She sneezed. If she didn't want Hannah asking questions, she'd have to get rid of the evidence. A quick brushing of the back of her pants and smoothing of her hair was the best she could do. She was removing a dust bunny from her hair when Hannah walked in. Session went well, she asked, aiming for normal. Meh. Hannah sat on Tobin's bed. Tobin tensed, almost cringing at the thought of the papers dislodging and Hannah finding them. When nothing happened, she sighed and took a seat beside her roommate. Doc said I'm on the right track, and he's impressed with what I've remembered so far. Hannah snorted. Says it won't be long before it comes back. So, fingers crossed, Dr. Owens picks me and I can, presto changeo, remember if I'm really Hannah or just someone who likes wearing other people's names. You think it's actually going to work? Hypnosis? Hannah lifted her shoulder. Who knows? Worth a shot either way. Better than waiting around here, hoping for something to go poof. She looked at Tobin. You don't think it'll help? I don't know. Maybe for memory loss? I don't see how it'll help me, though. She paused. Should she continue or drop the subject? Her brain wouldn't shut off the warnings, and she found herself saying, You aren't worried you'll remember something bad? Hysterical amnesia is often the result of a traumatic event. What if something horrible happened to you? Honestly, at this point I'd do anything to remember. Whatever those memories are. I want out. No offense, she added as an afterthought. Tobin chuckled, untaken. I mean, you're nice and all, but out would be awesome. Then, Tobin grinned, lifting both hands so Hannah could see, and crossed as many fingers as she could. Here's to nutso doctors and weird trials. That is the end of chapter 19. Next week it'll be chapter 20. And before I leave you, I just wanted to a quick reminder that I will be part of a fundraiser for the Lakeshore General Hospital's birthing center called AuthorFest on October 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, you can check out my website, dmdore.com. On my blog post, I added a couple links that has some information that may interest you. Till then, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.